Good morning. It is Thursday, I did it again, February 3rd. We have so much to talk about. We're going to really get into it and go quickly. But I'd like to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, to who I call Nashville Kyle.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be when they see me.
This is Nashville Kyle.
This is what happens when a guy leaves his hat at home. He brings his sunglasses inside.
So, Kyle's rocking hatless. And he's got white sunglasses on, and he put that on right before we started. So that's Nashville Kyle now. That is Nashville Kyle. Welcome to Thursday. It has been a pretty eventful week across the board. With technology, with automotive announcements, with weather systems moving through the country. I mean, it is just, we have the whole full gamut. But the momentum just seems to continue to be building from January. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But very first thing I think we should talk about is the fact that our daily email, we hit our first major snag yesterday. Well, it was a minor snag.
It was a minor snag. I wouldn't call it a snag. It was just a straight up snafu, right?
So we have an email list with thousands of people on it that get emails, and we just switched from weekly to daily. And, Monday went as normal, like pretty well, but it was a new email format. Tuesday went well. And Kyle texted me at the end of yesterday. He's like, somehow 700 of the people just got tomorrow's email. It was
like just over 400.
Oh, it's 400.
Tomorrow's email at 5:30 Eastern last night.
Because we were prepping, loading, and I was like, it's an email from the future, right? And so we quickly came up with a little fun thing. I'll tell them what we did.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, look, hey, if we're gonna mess up, we're gonna call ourselves out on it instead of everybody be like, those guys, they don't know how to send emails. So we just sent another follow-up email to those 400 plus people, and we were just able to say, hey, look, you just got an email from the future. Just don't tell anyone yet. You're special. We love you. And thanks for being part of the community. We got some fun feedback from that too. Someone saying that it's the best comeback ever. Someone said we can send them 6 emails a day. Someone gave us some kudos on our gift game, which we're especially proud of and thankful for. One of our new writers who you'll meet sometime that's helped us out with some of that. So been a whole bunch of fun. What I love is like when you make mistakes, having fun with it at least, right?
Absolutely.
And just going, yep, it happens. Everybody does it. So
yeah, and not like a page 8 redaction.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so yesterday was fun. We got our EIN as ASOTU Inc. yesterday. We also mentioned yesterday we have been granted graciously press credentials to NADA. So we're all fired up to get that plan going to really be your source on the ground at NADA if you can't go, or even if you're there. We met with Darren Doan's team about how we're going to fire up content and get so much of the content that we have all bottled up from the Vegas event, from other events, and from other content so that you can start to see it. Kyle registered a TikTok account, which admittedly is the first account amongst all of us. I mean, maybe not the best time to be getting into TikTok, but we'll go from there. And we have fired our Clubhouse rooms up this week. I've already had 2 great rooms on Tuesday and Wednesday. Today is what has been, I think, historically the most engaged room from the original Clubhouse rooms that were ASOTU rooms, is Women Inspiring Automotive. Michelle Denegine has done a great job with that room. Lori Halter has jumped in to be a leader. And today we have Kim Evenson, who works for a big publicly traded company now. She was in automotive for a while, and she actually met Michelle at an event, my very first event I ever threw, called ClarityCon. She flew in from Chicago I had it in Rochester, upstate New York. She flew in, met Michelle, and was like, hey, I'm brand new to automotive. I know our companies are kind of doing a competitive thing, but could you help me? And Michelle, being Michelle, was like, yeah, of course.
Yes.
And so that room is today at, I never put the time down, 11 o'clock.
Yes.
11 o'clock Eastern.
Right. Yep.
And you can go to ASOTU.club, ASOTU.club, and you'll get all the details on the room. And we hope you can join us for the conversation, because it's always been a great one. Those are the announcements. You want to talk some news?
That's a lot of announcements. Let's get into There was some crazy stuff yesterday,
Still getting crazier.
including our friends at Facebook and PayPal.
Meta, it's Meta, Kyle. It's not Facebook.
Sorry, I
Facebook
apologize.
has a Meta problem. Meta has a Facebook problem.
Right. Yeah. So both just projecting and talking about lower earnings due to things like ad revenue or reduced users. And this is crazy, but the average monthly users for Facebook was down for the first time ever by actually, just 0.1 billion, right?
Daily average users.
Daily average users. That's what it was.
Monthly total users, I think, was flat, but
right.
The amount of people logging in on a regular basis for the first time ever went backwards.
It's crazy. Yeah. So after hours trading, absolute tanking, 23%, I think it was.
As of this morning, as of like an hour ago.
Wow. Yeah. So that's a major indicator. Actually, it was interesting yesterday on Pitch Tank. We heard from a company, Cognition Digital, that actually won Pitch Tank yesterday, that they have a seat on the Amazon DSP. And the reality is that like ad buys, audience strategies, matchbacks, and all that off Facebook's platform right now, because of all of the privacy things that Facebook has gotten into, are actually becoming more efficient. So things like TikTok and Amazon and other ad platforms are actually like, their algorithms are refined in a new way because they have like a fresh access to some of that technology. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because so much of Facebook, and we saw yesterday that Google's revenue comes from ad revenue. And so there was kind of like the last summer when Apple came out with all the new privacy stuff, there was some speculation that this would happen, but we're starting to see the reality of it.
And look, everybody always has a vote, right? You can vote with your attention, and that's what happens today. People vote with their attention. And as we think through, like, how do we get people to pay attention to us, our stores, our brands, even Meta, right? Like their platform, people are seeing less value in it. Or at least, it's a small backup, but it is definitely a regression, and people are spending their time and energy elsewhere. And also, we know Facebook with their Reality Labs is leaning really heavy in the developing their metaverse experience. Because I think they understand that this is happening. So that division lost 3.3 billion last quarter, but they're leaning in, to trying to develop it. So just like anything, when you're leaning in, like, I think you never really count Facebook out, right? It's
and this is my thing too, is like, if you're leaning in so hard on that, if that's where all of your time and energy is going to, there could be a reality that like lack of focus on the actual Facebook algorithm, user engagement. I mean, we've seen, even simple things like uploading to Marketplace has been hard for auto dealers. The Facebook Business Manager switchover has been, a heartache. And so some of these like blocking and tackling things that have been core principles of their of Meta's business have kind of like, what seems to be, at least from my perspective in usability, has like been a struggle and been a heartache for people. So that could be like the projection of just, hey, look, we're looking over here instead of over here.
Don't listen, Meta, Reality Labs. Don't make us send Bob Lanham down there. We will send him down there in the real world, and you'll have to deal with him.
Yes.
Kyle, you sent me a link this morning about CDK Global's new car source wholesale marketplace. I don't know if that dropped yesterday or if it was like this week, but it was the first that I saw of it. And give us a summary on what that is and the people that are listening.
Yeah, essentially what I read up of it is, and the news reports on it are still kind of trickling in, but utilizing the fact that CDK Drive, their DMS, dealer management system, has so much access to vehicle data. They're enabling their, I think, just over 5,700 dealers to have a wholesale marketplace with the inventory that's in the DMS. So
they already have it in there.
Yep.
Right.
Closed loop marketplace for wholesaling, utilizing their current dealer network, which is, a solid, probably third of the industry that's living on that. So interesting, going to be interesting to see how dealers utilize that as a vehicle acquisition source, and whether or not they can keep up with like the online auctions and vehicle marketplaces that are sitting out there right now.
I mean, it's almost like it seems to me, the little I know about is like it's more of a DIY platform. and with some tech integration and assistance, right? They said they have a team ready to help. And like in a world where ACV really helped normalize the online wholesaling,
right?
Like do it yourself, but kind of assisted. I think it made so that when you sent me the article, I was like, oh, I didn't see this coming. But this makes all the sense in the world. Like, why would you not try to capture some of that? Right? I think the condition reporting, Manheim kind of did a good job of establishing, the rules around that in the beginning of like, when you can have, arbitrage and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I thought like, hey, that's an innovation that the market will get to decide whether or not it sucks.
Yep, exactly.
Which is the
whether or
best
not
part.
it's going to be like a massive play to pay feature, right? Because CDK is known for kind of extorting on their data. And, whether or not dealers are going to push back on that and just say, hey, look, we're already paying you these massive fees and we're in for contracts. And so this just needs to be a value add. The news is still out on that. So if you have news on that, let us know so that we can kind of give the feedback for sure.
Speaking of people deciding whether or not it sucks.
Stop. Segue.
Time. We haven't used this button in 2 days.
What are we doing?
We haven't used this. Danielle's like, you haven't used the segue button in like a while, which is like 2 days, but it has been a while. So I saw an article this morning about Visa said that their new crypto-linked credit card consumers processed $2.5 billion in transactions in the first quarter. And it's the first quarter that the card has been out there. And I had known a little bit about like crypto-linked cards because, just being a little bit more ahead of the crypto curve. But this is Visa, right? And Visa is like issued this card. And I think, there's an important part of like being able to use your cryptocurrency to make a retail transaction, not like the one I did with the Savannah Bananas, like where I bought it directly with Bitcoin, which is really janky, but with your credit card, right? Yeah. You swipe it, you make a payment. I think the adoption of retail purchases with a regular credit card is a big step toward mass adoption. There are two types of cards that can be linked to crypto. One is a crypto debit card. So Coinbase is about to launch one. I think they may have beta in certain states, but basically you have some cryptocurrency in your Coinbase account and you can use it like a debit card, right? So you swipe the card and it deducts it from your crypto account. Like, okay, great. I still don't know how that's going to be like. There are going to be some tax things there, right? You buy Ethereum at 1,000, it goes to 2,000, and then you swipe your credit card and you trade some of that has a gain.
You're trading it
for something that has an established value. You're like liquidating an asset. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't care because somebody else will figure that out.
Right.
And the other type of card I think is a little more interesting, and it's a credit card which is secured by your cryptocurrency. So if you think I have $2,000 of crypto, I want to buy $1,000 item, I swipe my credit card, I borrow basically $1,000. The bank gives me, or whoever it is, Coinbase, they give you $1,000 to buy the item, and then I have to pay it back at some point. And I can pay it back with crypto. I can pay it back with cash, right? It's just secured by that. So I think that opens a whole other world of value for the cryptocurrency. We were talking about this offline the other day. Like wealthy people, they'll buy a collector's item and it'll appreciate and they won't sell it.
And
they'll borrow against it. Right. They'll borrow against it. And that's how they spend the money. It's like a home equity line of credit, right? You have equity in your house. You can borrow against that, right? You're not actually liquidating it. So there's no tax liability. And then you keep the asset and that keeps appreciating and then you pay it back. So,
just like a note, one really cool thing about Pitch Tank next week that we'll have, we actually have a crypto firm that is in fintech and bringing crypto fintech into the automotive industry. So when you think about like, this is small transaction Visa, right? But it's actually quickly accelerating that fintech will meet crypto tech in the automotive industry. And actually the end game to that is the dealer being the finance solution because of lending against crypto. It's actually a lot cleaner than becoming a bank. So there's so much going on in this. So us keeping you informed on the Visa
You heard
side,
that here first, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We were working offline with a dealer, connecting them. It was a different firm to like dealers. Like, I want to be the first one to take crypto in my market. Right. It's happening. Whether or not you know about it, now, right? So hopefully you heard it here first and you at least pay a little bit more attention to it. Man, I don't know that we're going to have much time left for this article on teachers. We'll probably talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's an article about teachers quitting in droves over the last 18 months and some opportunities that we think you have in auto. But we want to end on a real positive note. Kyle, you want to deliver the positivity today.
Yeah, we were really excited to source this story out of Salina, Kansas. A dealer actually donated a Shelby Mustang to an auction and was able to raise 125 grand for a car museum in a revitalization project in their town. And so it is that museum is gonna go to a lot of education around vehicles, history of vehicles, and so really cool to see a dealer going, hey, look, we're gonna be a part of the revitalization of our community, donate a vehicle, donate 100% of the auction proceeds. We just love seeing more dealers supporting their communities. And again, if you have more stories like this, you can go to ASOTU.com/positivity and share those stories with us. And we'd love to hear them and just share about what's going on on the ground game in communities, not just the high visionary OEM level stuff, but the stuff that dealers are doing every day to give back and push into their
make people's lives different. Let's give him a shout out directly. It's Long MacArthur Ford.
Yes.
Salina, Kansas. I love this little quote. I'm so happy that we were able to support the Salina community. This community has supported us for over 70 years. Because the truth is, it takes an amazing community to make any small business amazing.
Yes.
So we hope that this Thursday, you'll remember that. You'll begin to lean in, give back to your people in your store, the people in your community, and we can all move forward together, make this thing happen.